Pay attention, pay attention. Alright. I am Benjamin the Wizard, as you may know, and I have gathered you here today, two of the most fine warriors in all of the land of Garach, for a very special quest. You see, we do not have much time, for in exactly 3 hours per a few moments ago, there will be a gathering in the forest, where some of the most delicate, delightful, petite, insightful beings will be gallivanting and up to all sorts of nefarious actions.
Who do you speak of?
I speak of the fairies. You see, the fairies have long been troubling me. For eons, evermore. And only now have I finally gotten insight on where they are, what they might be doing, but most importantly, who they are. And even more, most importantly, how to catch them. So, you might be wondering, why have I chosen you two? Well, Gosif, you are the strongest warrior that I have in my wizard decks that will still speak with me to this day.
That's me.
And Meadow, I've never met you, but I'm familiar with your material. I have read your book on the mystical beings of the forest and surrounding locales. And while it is written rather, extravagantly, you do love yourself an adjective, I won't lie. There was quite a lot of insightful information that I've never ever seen captured in any of the books I own personally in my library. So the studies that you've done, you must have gotten very up close with these fairies. And that is quite remarkable. So
Done a lot of research.
Way to go.
I see.
Many years.
I see. You must too. You too must have a grudge for these evil little devils. I relate to you in that fact alone, and I think we can be very good partners. Alright. So, you might also be wondering, what is in it for you? Well, I'll let you know that if we are successful in capturing and hunting a fairy, or 2, or even 3, then I have glory and riches to bestow upon you. However, only one of each. So you guys will have to decide amongst yourselves who wants glory and who wants riches.
Okay, good to hear. Good to know.
You can think on that.
Yeah, I will.
Cool. To aid us in our quest, I have procured an advantage that I have not had ever before in the eons of chasing these fairies. And this is a peculiar item that I believe might have been created by the fairies themselves.
Where did you get that? That's definitely not found in any common shops.
It's a wonderful place. You have to go in between 2 tree roots, shrink yourself down with a certain spell, and then if you then knock 3 times on the oak branch, you'll go to a place known only to those who are aware of it, called Zia Records. I'm curious though, in all your research, you've never found an object such as this?
I've heard tales of the fairies who did create those, and each one has a little bit of their soul in them. Don't know how. Yeah, that's very, very lucky that you were able to come across those.
Oh, I'm overjoyed to hear you say this. You saying that makes me feel like we have a chance yet. You see, they've eluded me so far. They've eluded me thus. So many times I've tried with nets and shovels and baskets and other items. They just don't work. And even my magic, they seem to whisk it away like it's just some sort of plaything, like a toy or a costume. Ridiculous.
Are you curious how to use them?
You know, I've tried some methods. You know, I've gone to all the sources that I know in my world of how to use a deck of cards, like solitaire or Uno. I don't know if you've heard of those magic arts. They've proven fruitless. But I believe that fairies, you see, they're incredibly tricky. They love to have things be totally spontaneous, and that's what makes them just so elusive, so difficult. See, what you must do, I believe, is you must close your eyes, set your intentions on a fairy, and just when you think all hope is gone, the correct one will reveal itself to you.
The correct one for murder?
Precisely. Alright. You see, they work in groups, but also as individuals. They have some sort of telepathic communication. But by getting into the source of their trickery, we can find out just which ones will be in the forest gathering. And so, we each will pick one.
Let us spread it around our candles then.
Alright. So here, we will each select a card and we will lay them out.
Dear warrior, what sort of beasts have you come across in your travels?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So with when it comes to beasts, I mostly do just like the big ones. So like whichever one's like coming through town or anything like that, I just say them real quick. That's usually my
Are they all
strategy.
evil in your eyes?
Big, evil, bad, yeah. That's usually what I use to describe them.
Could you give me like one example?
I mean, it's all pretty up in the air, you know what I mean? I can't really talk about it. It's stuff for like the king or
I see.
signs of non-disclosures.
Interesting.
I hate non-disclosure scrolls. As the magic that binds those is one that I haven't been able to unlock.
Can't get past it, man.
Evil.
Totally understand. I will not intrude with any more questions.
Just another big, scary
But
beast.
that makes me wonder. Have you ever dealt with small little beasts?
They're usually pretty big, scary. Yep. Yeah.
I see. But what about
Ugly.
delicate?
We're really just talking big, like scary, ugly.
Have you killed anything
Oh.
that's your
Have
size?
Have you ever felt bad about killing?
I mean, would
Has
you
ever
feel
a
bad?
beast not been ugly?
I mean, would you feel bad if you were killing these ugly, huge, evil beasts?
Well, my work is in research, so I find all of that mannerisms not productive, personally.
Not productive in killing big, evil beasts?
Just in my line of work.
Okay. It's the most productive in
I
mine,
re-
so
I
I
do
understand.
research.
Yeah. Okay.
But I
Fair.
respect it.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't imagine you kill a lot of big, evil beasts yourself.
No.
So I don't think you can understand, but
I see.
yeah.
We have some work to do, it seems. I do want to you know that we are out to catch and vanquish these
Yes.
fairies.
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay, absolutely. So a couple pages might have to be torn from your books once we're finished.
I'm just here to help in my knowledge.
Thank you. We'll rely on our muscle for the
Absolutely.
action.
It'll be my first. It's something not big and scary. Yep.
Totally. We shall work on your accuracy, perhaps.
Thank you.
Excellent. All right, Gosif and Meto, please pick a card.
I'll go with this one. Am I looking at it?
Not yet.
Master
Not
Wizard?
yet. All right, an eye from the top. Excellent. All right. If my research is to be correct, Meadow, who's never vanquished a beast, should go first.
I never said I never vanquished a beast.
Oh.
Follow your dreams. This is a sleeping fairy. They can actually. This actually might be pretty difficult. I'm not going to lie to you guys. They can. Once they know you're hunting them, they can get right into your dreams, know your deepest fears, the things you want, can create illusions in your life. It's going to be, yeah, that's quite a challenge, I will say.
Fascinating. A sleeping fairy. They do pervade the realms of dreams, and that seems to be the way they know things that other waking folk, walking folk may miss. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Thank you, Meadow. I shall take this card as we strategize our plan. Sleeping fairy, huh? So, now, I've only practiced in the art of art for a couple centuries, so while my renderings are going to be more accurate than any other creature on the land, they still will be comparatively crude. We have these little wings here and ears and looks like a crown. All right. So with the sleeping fairy, you see, an idea just came to me. Glorious. So, sleeping fairies, they enter the realm of dreams and they get into your head and make you see visions and hear voices perhaps. So that means, in order to beat them, correct me if I'm wrong from your knowledge, we can just never fall asleep. If we only reside in the waking world, then maybe they won't ever even notice us as we creep up on them.
You definitely keep them from getting the advantage.
Excellent. Oh, and advantage is my fourth name.
It's so helpful to have you here with all this information.
Yes. It worked with my schedule. I wanted to see what it was all about.
Who would have been lost?
That's what I'm feeling.
Have faith, ye warrior.
I do. Now that you're here.
Alright. Stay on task.
And it is worth noting, they won't change or interfere with you if they don't see you as a threat, however. But when they know you, then they will try to go into your dreams.
Fascinating. That's a very good detail. So first thing is we need to make sure we remain level-headed and focused in our attack. But now, as I've done an expert rendering of Gosif, our warrior, it sounds like having his weapon out front and center will immediately convey the wrong, and by that I mean the right message. Excellent. So
Wonderful.
perhaps if we instead parade the axe as a candy cane, they will think we are merely giving them a sweet treat for when she wakes up as a reward for a good night's sleep. And then you pop it off. Bam!
Oh my god.
It's your axe. Bam! You attack the fairy. Bam! And now I go to my most sinister magic marker. Death!
Oh my goodness.
Very used to that.
Yes, this is the matter in which we will be dealing with these fairies. If you are scared, quench those fears.
I am not scared, dear wizard.
Yeah, that's no problem for me. I don't know about you, but I can do that for sure.
Wonderful. So leads me to the question. So this axe of yours, this is your weapon of choice? Is this your most trusty armament in your chest?
Yes. This is crafted out of 4,000-year-old gold.
4,000-year-old gold?
Yes.
Gold is probably the worst material to make a weapon out of.
But not if it's 4,000 years old.
I see.
Yeah, it's white, like 3,999. That's when it gets bad.
I see.
Yep.
So gold, it seems to harden after 4 millennia?
Yes.
I
Exactly.
see.
Harden and becomes more deadly when it's in a weapon. Yep.
This intrigues me.
Yep.
For
Yeah.
once, Gosif, you have actually given me a new fact. I thought Meta was our scholar, but I'm only 3,842 years old, so I've never, and all of my gold pieces still remain very, very malleable to blunt force.
Yeah.
I get into rages sometimes and break things.
Yeah.
These fairies,
Sounds
man.
like it. Sounds like it.
I'm pretty smart. So.
You see, that passion, that fuels me, you see? These fairies, they do not know what hit them yet. My hope soars in your presence, my dear friends. I see. Well, wonderful. In that case, I will hit up another wizard that I know, a very potent, strange wizard. He hasn't answered my wizard mail in a while, but that of a certain Willy Wonka will perhaps give us our disguise for your weaponry.
Fantastic. From the man himself.
Exactly. Wonderful. Wow. And just like that, it sounds like we have a plan of action for our first fairy. How glorious. Ha ha ha. They will not know what hit them. Now, we will get to the specifics of our plan of attack once we address our 3 targets. Gosif, draw your card.
Alright, if you want to tell me what this means, scholar.
Well, dear wizard, this is a fairy that is essentially an angel. I mean, these fairies resolve huge crises in people's families and lives, and to hurt one of these fairies could possibly throw off the balance of life itself. Is that a risk you're willing to take?
The balance of life itself?
Yes.
You think the removal of a fairy will exchange the balance of life itself?
It could create complete chaos.
Chaos. When chaos rises, the wizards will finally be able to fly and play and dance on the streets and express their magic without any recourse.
Has a fairy never helped you, wizard?
Helped me?
Yes.
Fairies don't even know how to perceive the desires of other folk. They merely just flutter around, the selfish little beasts. Up and down, to and fro. Stop and go. No!
Alright then, wizard. So this fairy will only turn up when one is in dire, genuine need of help.
Dire, genuine need of help. So you're saying that we must inflict a tragedy.
Yes,
Let me grab this.
that is what I'm saying.
Let's see. Oh, wow.
And let the tragedy happen.
So we cannot merely feign a tragedy. We must enact it.
Yes. I mean, if you were to hurt the fairy before it can help, then yes.
Fascinating. Fascinating indeed. Now, while an idea cooks in my wizard brain oven, we draft another expert drawing.
I must say your artistic skills are extraordinary. Simply exquisite.
Thank you.
Perhaps you would do better trying your next life as an artist instead of a hunter, wizard. Only an idea.
I hunt because I must, Meadow.
I see. It's quite scary.
It's a lot larger. Which is good, because this one's more dangerous.
Yeah, you're more into the big ones.
Yep, then big one, yep.
But we don't know that it's big. That's just his artistic vision.
I get a feeling.
A wizard's intuition is dangerous.
Oh dude, I'm gonna kill that thing so hard.
Haha. Wonderful.
It's terrifying.
It's got some so as long as you can stand to look the face of horror in the eyes, we must now strategize. So if we must produce authentically a tragedy, of what severity will satisfy and bring forth our next victim?
Any thoughts?
Have you ever faced a tragedy, Joseph?
Yeah, a couple tragedies for sure. I would say I've definitely dealt with some stuff. Whatever tragedy you guys want to do, I'm down with. I really trust the wizard here. And the scholar, you seem to know a lot about these fairies.
It's true. My wizard's intuition, as you mentioned, was correct in choosing you folk.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will take credit for all your contributions based on that alone.
As you should, yeah.
Well, I will say, wizard, be very careful with what you decide to do, because I would say that not every fairy you would be able to take down. Maybe you need to pick the right target, because this fairy is incredibly strong. You will need to make a sacrifice, and if of a tragedy, and you will have to bear witness to the consequences of the chaos that it creates as well. So these are just things to think about. I don't know what your gripe is against the fairies, but we can talk about that too. And maybe it's a specific fairy that you have been hurt by. And maybe we should address that instead. But that's just my perspective.
I see. I won't lie, I've appreciated your contributions, but your words are approaching the lane of intrusion. You see,
You have asked me here, wizard. Did he not? Did he not ask me here?
I kind of want to know what all this is about.
First of all, a fairy is a fairy is a fairy is a fae. Fairies have brought me nothing but dismay. And you forced me to say a wizard poem once again. Please, just don't bring it up again. I thought we established we all were on a like mission here. So, anyway, back on track. A tragedy, you say?
Yes. What are you wanting to do?
Well, in our group of three, the tragedy that seems most fitting to me... Oh, stop it. They're making you rhyme. I vow to never rhyme again since the last time. Oh.
I like it.
Thank you.
It's a nice side of you, wizard.
Say nothing more of it.
Are you sure of it?
What if we lost the most knowledgeable member of our group in our battle? What if we made the sacrifice was that gives us the most advantage in the battle? What if we,
I mean,
as a martyrship for the cause of which you've aligned, I cast a spell to painlessly relinquish you of your life. Would that be enough to summon our fairy friend? And by friend, I mean end of the fairy.
so you.
That sounds like a threat to me. I mean,
To you,
that sounds like you just threatened me.
I thought I was the most knowledgeable person here.
It
So I
sounds
don't
like
know-
he's
I don't know
willing
how
to
you
throw
guys
us
do
under
it.
the bus. So, careful with your words, wizard. I was here to share knowledge with you.
Honestly, we gotta do what we gotta do though. So if we need a tragedy, and then we need my muscle, you know what I mean? So I mean maybe there's not
What
really
am I
another
doing
option.
here? What am I doing here? We haven't even got to the third fairy, and first you try to sacrifice me? My research is much better fit somewhere where it is appreciated for the good of magic and a beautiful world.
If the good of magic is your interest, then doing anything to fulfill that just makes sense. That means that you
That is your fulfillment.
sacrifice everything that you can. This sounds pretty good. This is a good plan. I like this.
The good of magic everywhere, you say. You see,
And
fairies, in my eons of experience, take all the magic for themselves. They don't let people like wizards or anyone else to have their own spells.
Let me ask you this, wizard. How can a fairy take what they are? It is their pure essence. They are born. And they share and spread magic everywhere. If all the fairies were dead, the magic would be drained. You would be less powerful in the world. Have you ever considered this? It's just science.
You see, I've read the treatise of fairyology, as you have. Clearly, you're citing that ideology as a mouthpiece for such frivolous
The High Council?
writings. The High Council. The Shmai Council. Do you think their influence exists anywhere in my dungeon? They've got it all wrong, you see. You say that the fairies, and now I don't fault you for your ignorance. You are merely a scholar. You have not been in the fields the way I have. You've not dealt with them wand to wing.
Tell us, wizard! Tell us of your stories.
It seems, in order to solidify our trust as a group, I might have to let loose a tale. Oh, I promised I wouldn't. But our mission must prevail. And perhaps, if I make this sacrifice, you might be willing to make one yourself.
I've already sacrificed my time by being here for you. Remember that, wizard.
You see, it was just my 118th, 1118th year of life in this realm of Grach.
Hilgra.
I too had read the treatise of fairyology, and I believed its text. That fairies did indeed harness magic and spread it for others to use. You see, I was still a student back then. I was learning. And I thought that my powers would grow and I'd be able to do even more wonderful tricks and spells. But you see, the fairy I encountered dissuaded me from even pursuing the craft. She had her own allure, you see. These fairies, they're tricky. They jumble your brain a little bit. They make you think you want something that you don't actually want. For years, I was certain that I loved only books. When I looked into the fairy's eyes, started to compromise, and I've shared too much. Point is, they keep the magic for themselves. They want you to stop reading, stop practicing spells. They only want you to get a job so you can afford the rent payment in the house of your wood village that you created, but you thought it was far away from the city.
I understand.
Ah,
I understand.
we'll move on. Put a big question mark by this fairy.
I understand.
She might be the leader.
We are here as a team. I have showed up. You have showed up. We are here by your call, wizard. We are not your enemy. It is important to treat us as such.
Thank you. Forgive me.
You are forgiven.
As I said before, I thought I had harnessed all emotion and captured it in little bottles and only drank them on certain ceremonies.
Oh my word! I would like to try that.
Oh, yeah, I'll send you the recipe on the magical forum of Pinterest. They're really quite delightful.
Lovely.
Alright. And now you know of my deeply darkened heart. As the least fair of us three, I will draw my card. Ah. Oh dear. Oh, Dumbledore.
What did we get? Who is she?
I'm worried to even show.
Do you know of this fairy?
Mm-mm. Could it? No, it's just one of
Show it to me,
them.
wizard.
Fairies are one and the same.
Oh, family, harmony.
What does it mean?
She's the fairy spirit of family. She sees that everybody always finds their way back home. Don't you see? Was this the one that hurt you? Was this the one that broke your spirits? It is.
A wizard has no home.
He blames this fairy. I sense it. Am I wrong?
Is this the fairy wizard?
Is this why you've studied them, trying to figure out which was the one that hurt you? Was it harmony?
Harmony. I know only discord. I know not of that fairy. He'll never convince me otherwise. Family harmony. Returning home. A wizard has no home but the library in which he learned his craft. He renounces the form that he took before magic entered his soul and left vacant all other feelings, emotions, and...
There it was. There it was.
Just a little pitter
Is this your little dragon?
Ah,
Come, dragon, sit by me. Oh, very well.
The warrior, he could tell.
I see.
I won't
Wizard.
slay this beast.
Wizard, let me see the other cards. I just realized something. Let me see the other cards that we pulled. Let me see them, please.
See.
Okay, now this is very interesting. So, fairy wings are made of a material called tafaria. It's like a silky, strong substance, but each color of the wings represents the fairy's power and the fairy's personality. And I can see here they're all different.
I
Okay? So, harmony is blue, and blue covers all the emotions of melancholy, of pain, of longing, of loneliness. She in harmony. So she can control those feelings and she spreads them or doesn't. Okay? So our second fairy, the resolver, the angel, she's orange. She spreads happiness and productivity into the world. Balance. Our first fairy is a pale pink, which is that would be best described as the innocence of a child. It's untainted. It's pure and honest. I just remembered about it seeing this third fairy, so
I
maybe that will
see.
help us dissect their personalities better.
Thank you. A new clue. That
Yes.
I was getting very off track. My mind was roaming in places that
Yes.
very, very, very dark. And once again, back to center. And I'm so glad you brought that up. For the emotional magic is it's precisely why these fairies are so sinister. You see, the fine-tuned wand of study and logic gets twisted up like a little wet noodle whenever you encounter these emotional beasts.
Yes.
And so Tafaria gives us another clue as to the magic that they will use upon us.
It is a part of their body.
I see.
But if you truly want to hunt a fairy, I suggest you know the differences between each.
Got it. So, under the renderings, as you can see, I drew this other one, clearly the worst. Just my personal...
Tell me, warrior, out of all of our fairies pulled today by the heavens, which would you choose as our target? What do you think?
So the beasts I kill are usually ugly, large, and I say that this last one here is also dumb, ugly, and stupid.
Well, he wrote that because this is the fairy that you know.
Well, he's a wizard.
What?
He
Nothing.
knows a lot.
Nothing?
I do know a
I
lot.
trust the wizard here, and I will
Don't
say
stand buttered up.
dumb, ugly, and stupid sounds a lot like what I'm used to, so I'd start there.
I see. Yes. No. I see all three of these words. I see written on your face and other aspects of you.
Yeah, that's what everyone tells me, yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Awesome. And if you're very familiar with slaying, this one does seem to be the most nefarious. But based on those alone, you might be able to witness them in a group of people that are beings that in the forest in which they gather. There might be other mystical beings, and those will be way more. Way more suited for the eyes. But this dumb, ugly, stupid, dumb, stupid, disgusting, ugly, stupid,
Ugly, yeah,
dumb,
yeah.
stupid, ugly, bad,
Just bad.
dumb,
Yeah.
ugly.
You definitely want to get that out of the area so everyone else can kind of flourish there, yeah.
Totally.
To get the dumb and ugly out of there.
Exactly. The forest convention will be incredibly distracted by not only the emotions, but also the appearance. That's the thing with these fairies, is all it takes is a glance for you to be thrown off your game. So, Gosef, one thing I'm curious of is, in all my years of employing warriors and other folk along the vanquishing vertical, I haven't really found your name come up in any of the databases. So, I would like to ask a little bit, what are your qualifications?
Yeah, absolutely. Really great question. So my qualifications as a warrior, I like to think that I'm a self-starter. I kind of do everything myself. I take initiative by myself. I've been on teams. I work well alone on teams. Whatever we gotta do, I slay all sorts of beasts. I don't really know their names or what people call them. I didn't go to school or anything. But I've slayed big green beasts. I've slayed big red beasts, blue, any color on the rainbow, I probably slayed it. So,
I see.
Yeah, I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and I'm just really excited to get started on this.
I see. So, do you have any back of squadron experience, or are you more frontline?
I'm more frontline. I'm a fast learner. I can definitely do some back of house kind of back of things for sure. But yeah, really great question, by the way. But yeah, more front of.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. So,
It's
Just
very
really excited.
admirable that
Thank you. Thank
learned
you.
all that by yourself. That's
Yeah,
very cool.
absolutely. Like I'm saying, self-starter.
and
Did
it's
you have your
for
parents to teach you? Sorry, was it?
No,
It's
I
fine,
kind
it's
of did
fine.
it myself, kind of. How some people learn instruments by themselves. I learned all this kind of, just feeling it out.
I see.
Yeah.
And what kind of weapons do you have experience in using? Like bludgeoning?
So Really great question. Again, I didn't really go to school, so I don't know the names, but this one's really good. I use this a lot.
An axe?
Axe. I knew it. Yeah,
Trusty axe.
The trusty axe. Yeah, I definitely just like slice and yeah, I use this a lot. Use them
May
for
I
a
hold
while.
it?
Yeah, you might want to be careful. It's pretty heavy.
Let's see what I feel from it.
Didn't look very heavy the way you.
Well, it's muscle. I've been doing this a while, so.
What about?
There's much bloodshed.
She said.
I mean, she's probably. You must have been in the field a while if it was that light in your hands. So.
She said that she hasn't vanquished anything.
Oh. Yeah, but anyway, like enough.
Can I feel how heavy the axe is?
I wasn't feeling it for weight. I was feeling it to feel
like
what all
like magical.
its memories. Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you feel? Anything interesting?
I felt much bloodshed.
Yeah, a lot. It's been about 6-7 years of doing this.
I see.
Yeah.
How many of those years were full time?
Really good question. Yeah, I had a second job when I first started.
Mm.
But like I said, I taught myself. But like the second job, I was building houses and stuff, and then I just didn't feel like it was fulfilling enough. And so yeah, now I sought out this opportunity.
I see. So some side construction experience. So if we need
Exactly.
to in the field create some sort of fort or something, you could help with that.
Yeah, probably, yeah. I'm a fast learner, so.
Got you.
Yeah.
Well, sounds like you'll be useful still. Not quite what I expected of a warrior. You know, the one document I did find said that you were the prized vanquisher of the Eon.
They like to give me that title, yep. Yeah, I am actually. So I've been the prized vanquisher for probably like pretty much the entire time I've been doing it. Moved up really quick.
I see.
Yeah.
What would you say your greatest weakness as a warrior is?
Gosh, greatest weakness. Okay, so I would definitely say, I care. I care a lot. Let me think.
You care.
Empathy.
Yeah, I would say empathy is probably my biggest weakness. I just care. So, I'll kill the beast, think about it a little bit. That's all.
I see.
Yeah.
You might have to kind of push those feelings down once we actually get into, feelings like that are very, they're fairies. They feed on those.
I wouldn't feel that way about fairies. Let me tell you that.
Okay,
I
good.
don't think at least.
I see.
They all look pretty dumb and ugly.
That's good. That is true. Every single fairy in the world actually is dumb and ugly.
Well, we're all a little dumb and ugly.
Have either of you gentlemen ever seen a fairy?
No.
They are practically sirens. They're beautiful. That is part of how they can put spells on you.
Typical intellectual ignorance. I'll forgive you that one. You see, under the veneer of beauty is nothing but stupidity and ugliness. You see, it's more of a thing you feel rather than a thing you witness. They like to put on imagery to confuse you, but
But you cannot pretend that it is not part of their armor.
I cannot
We have
pretend
to-
you're correct.
We have to write down all the things that, what are their abilities? How can they cast spells on men? I mean, it's definitely a valid thing. If you pretend it's not real or they're all ugly, you could be very mistaken.
I see.
Fatally.
You bring up a great point there, Meadow. Perhaps we can agree in sort of a language type of thing where, when we say beauty and wonder and the lovely facial structure and the eyes, we're really talking about the surface level. It's mostly anything deeper than that, ugly, stupid, dumb all the way.
So if you, besides from being kind of pretty, they're really ugly. So
Exactly.
if you just forget how pretty they are, they're hideous.
Absolutely. Very well put, Joseph.
Yeah.
May I ask why? I'm curious to hear, not that I disagree, I'm just curious to hear your perspectives.
Yeah, so I've never actually seen a
I like to
fairy.
compile it in my research.
This will be the first time I'm seeing a fairy, but from everything I've
Oh,
heard
so you
about
don't
them.
really actually know.
Like, no, but like, I'm pretty sure I know. You know, it's one of those.
I see. You're a fast learner. That's the main thing.
Exactly.
I'm putting a lot of my tokens on the fast learner part of you.
Yeah, it's sometimes when you're a fast learner, there's like details like actually seeing a fairy before you talk about it. Like things like that, like you kind of have to skip over.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, assuming is not the same thing as learning.
It
But
is.
it's just as good.
I see.
Fair enough, Warrior.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Perhaps, you know, many things can happen to your perceptions in the field of battle when attacking this particular enemy. So honestly, perhaps your ignorance might be of use to us. They won't be able to trick you, as you'll be able to strike them just as any other beast you've encountered.
Absolutely. I'll be ready to do so.
I see.
So let me ask you this: have you ever been tempted by a beautiful woman?
I've been tempted once or twice by a beautiful woman. Yeah, that's a good question. Is this a part of like making sure I'm a good fit or what?
No, that will just be part of their appeal.
Okay.
I see.
It's something to be wary of, dear soldier.
I was very much hoping you were more into men.
I've done both. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's good.
You
That's
know,
good.
I've been around.
I see. You've dealt with a beast in a couple of other ways.
Yep.
I'm sure. Okay.
Absolutely. The piece of sexuality.
Lovely.
Struggling with that, yep.
Yes. Please don't be crass in my dungeon.
Sorry
No,
about that.
be yourself.
Thank you.
Less of yourself. Some of yourself.
Okay.
Have you always lived alone, wizard?
Always lived alone for most of my years. Yeah, most of the relevant years. Most of my developmental eons were alone. A couple of little engagements when, you know, and my studied abroad into other realms a little bit, but why do you ask? I feel like we're getting off track here. Time is of the essence.
Oh, I mean, it seems like you're used to having things your way. And maybe that can add resentment to your feelings towards other people and social experiences. And I wonder where it is all deep rooted from.
Well, that's a fascinating question. If you're speaking of deep roots, I would direct you to my garden, which is more so on the surface of my wizard castle. We're here in the dungeon because this is where the fairies cannot intrude. And resentment, that's not a herb that I'm quite familiar with, but I don't know, perhaps it's somewhere in my books if you could do some quick reading, but I'm really not sure what you're supposed to be asking me.
I'm just wondering if you know why you hate these fairies so much, dear wizard. What will change after you have hunted this fairy?
I will have rid the world of a fairy.
Anything else?
There will be one less fairy in the world.
But will you be happy?
I will be one fairy happier.
You will be happy. That's all.
Is this gonna lead us to a weak point of the fairies? I'm confused in our discussion.
I just want to make sure that you're strong-willed so that they cannot tamper with the illusions that they will be trying to put on you. You must be deep-rooted in your will and your genuine honesty of what will be accomplished. Are you trying to make up for something that happened in the past? Or is it simply, as you put it, to hunt a fairy? Because they will see through these things. And you must be ready and honest with yourself.
Understood. So if you're saying I have any confusions in my soul configuration,
Yes,
there'll be an opening.
Twist you up.
I see.
If not already.
I see. Well,
Have
that
you encountered a fairy before? Come to think of it, I'm wondering if they haven't already done something to your mind. It's just a feeling. I am very empathetic.
Yeah. I'd like to know too.
I see. Well, you speak of being strong-willed.
Yes.
Now, I once met Strong Will, and I will say I vanquished him instantly with a spell. So in that case, I do believe that my will is the strongest. However, have the fairies impacted me?
Yes. Have you encountered them?
I see. Well, I will not. To be fair, I would not bestow glory and riches, one of each, just for any flippant purpose.
Of course.
Unfortunate as it might be for such a powerful, illustrious, dashing wizard, fairies have impacted me. You see, the
Yes.
fairies, their particular effect on a razor-sharp mind is to make it very wobbly. I don't know if you ever encountered the magical dish known as spaghetti, but it makes your brain very similar. You see, you're familiar, Joseph.
Yeah, I love spaghetti.
Absolutely.
Magical dish.
I see. Yeah, that's precisely what it makes it feel like. Is the motives that you were so strong about at one point, you start to waver. I used to think that all I needed in life were books and spells, and books and spells, books to learn more spells, spells to vanquish beasts and trick others to acquire more books, and that my knowledge on magical arts could be so and so vast, and that would ever be so fulfilling. And so one day, in my quest, my thirst to grow myself in this domain, I came across an enclave deep in the woods of Groch. Western Groch.
The good part.
Yeah. You're telling me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't park my car on the east Groch.
I wouldn't either. Not if you wanted to be there in the morning.
Straight up. Here. That's what I'm talking about. So, when I did meet a fairy, I some of the knowledge, it's not merely theory. Some of this is practical. And that fairy, I opened up a book, just like every time I meet somebody else, kind of like my pickup line per se, is I like to recite a fact that they probably haven't known about. You see, women love this. Intellectual superiority is perhaps the sexiest thing that anybody can really do. So I recite this fact, and clearly, as every creature is more ignorant than I, in generally speaking, it was a fact they hadn't known. And this fairy, she took the book, feigning interest. She called me cute. And then
Lovely.
No,
That's how they get you.
precisely.
Yeah.
I'm a genius. I'm strong. I know so many things. I know facts. I know spells.
Let me ask you, if I may, was it that it was a fairy that complimented you, dear wizard, or are you offended by any compliment whatsoever?
Well,
Aside from, of course, of your great wisdom and skill, but for something flirty like that, would it offend you from any other species?
is there a way to compliment somebody other than their intellect? That is all there is to a wizard. It's all there is of any importance. No offense, Joseph. Muscles are cool too, I guess. If you're into that. But no.
What if she complimented your eyes?
My eyes. Well, if she said I had a keen vision for noticing a particular herb and comparing it with another herb, then I would perhaps be flattered.
Didn't she say something about your eyes being the color of beautiful hazel? Didn't she say something like that?
I'm perplexed by the specificity of your guess. You must truly be empathetic. Is that what this is?
When we speak of memories, if I concentrate, I can almost be there. If you speak from the heart, sometimes it's a skill I've acquired over time.
By being.
When people explain their memories to me, if their feelings are fully in the description, sometimes I can pick up other things that happened that they did not say because they were thinking it.
Okay. Pretty cool.
But how could that be the case? All my feelings are bottled up and corked in my alchemist cognate.
They're still there, corked and all. Continue with your story. It was just a question.
No, the feeling I'm feeling currently, I remember it.
Yeah. And you forgot it before now, didn't you? There was something to it. That's the only reason why it came up in my mind now. There was something to it. That's why you bottled it up. What happened next, or was it I'm most intrigued?
You know, I'm perplexed by this line of questioning, but due to the accuracy of your assumption, wherever it came from, your intuition, empathetic intuition, ugh.
It is a skill, maybe one that you do not see worthy, but it has helped me and guided me toward all my research.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Here, I thought you were an intellectual, yet it's funny, the words you're using, they almost make me think of something else, a different type of magic. Maybe, probably all the reading you've done has almost really made you understand these darker forms of consciousness and being. Very well, I'll engage your query. So after she spoke her word most foul, I felt a strange discoloring of my upper cheeks. Usually they are prominently pale, the way I like it, due to many, many years spent in a dungeon, something I'm most proud of. But using my perceptive abilities of the colors, I could tell that I was flushed with a pink.
Yes.
It was pink and soft and horrid. It was nothing like the wizards of old, the ones that I respect and the ones that have taught me from eons past through their books and YouTube videos. And so my instinct from my brain immediately was to just move on to someone else. Clearly this was not worth my time, worth my intellectual efforts. I needed to learn, find another person to either trick to gain knowledge from or gain resources, acclaim in society.
So
But
you just
even-
brushed her away.
I brushed her away indeed, like a broom sweeping up a dungeon floor.
Wow.
But you see, even as I viewed the plaza in which I lay, there were many fantastic, fantastic magicians from which they could teach me many more things. As you see, I was still a novice. But I could not, for some reason, I was still attached to this one instance that the dumbest, ugliest, stupidest creature there had put something into my brain that magnetized me to her. She had nothing to offer me, clearly. She scoffed at my poetry.
Did she?
Oh, yes. I mean, you see, my poetry, this might not have come up in your research, but it's very extensive, like, I use a format that is very particular with an arrangement of syllables and idioms and other sorts of things.
So she scoffed at your poetry, she gave you a kiss on the cheek, and she complimented you. What am I missing, Wizard?
It was at that point that I realized the only thing that would make sense was that she was a trickster trying to throw me off my lifelong mission, derail me from my motives, and keep me from being the greatest wizard of all time. She wanted to see my dungeon, go to my cavern and look at my books and read through it.
She wanted to give you a family. She saw that you lived all these years and decades alone, and she wanted to give you a family. She wanted to see if it was suited for a family. And what did you say? You scoffed at her. You were the one that scoffed. Because you were scared. And you were not in control. And to hunt a fairy is your way of being in control. What happened to that fairy? You didn't hunt it, did you?
I tried. I cast the deepest, darkest spell to entrap her in little ribbons. They're very bright and they distract you. So when you get trapped in them, they're very sticky.
Yeah, it sucks. Not that I would know, but it
Oh, so you've read about this spell?
sucks. Yes.
Oh, yes. No, it took me 400 years just to practice this sticky ribbon,
Goodness.
Heard about it actually.
Really?
Yeah. Now that you say the name. Sticky ribbon, yeah.
You remember my spell name, but you don't remember the names of the beasts you've killed?
Yeah, I pick and choose.
He taught himself.
Yeah.
He picked himself by his own bootstraps, so.
I see.
Mhm.
Yeah. But she laughed at me. She dodged the spell, floated around, fluttered away, and she just laughed at me, giggled, the most sinister hee. And ever since then, she flew away, probably realized that I was prepping another spell. I tried to resume my studies after that, but it took me 650 years to get her out of my brain. You see, the fairies, they do something weird to you. They scatter you. Every time I open a book and start practicing a new recital, all I could think of was this noise. And the way my cheeks felt and the weird emotions that rose.
She woke you up. She woke you up, Wizard. Can't you see? Can't you see this whole time? She's trying to help you and you regret it. You want to hunt, you want to find her. That's what this is, isn't it? You don't need a hunter. You didn't ever meant to hunt her. You want to find her, don't you? Do you even know? What are we doing here?
Who are you to question the motives of a wizard?
You're not my king.
I advise the king from the shadows. He is merely a puppet ruler,
And
a
I
talkpiece for my will. You see, whenever I need a new ordinance passed so that I have to pay fewer taxes on towers over a height of 500 feet.
Yes, you're comfortable. We all know.
Oh,
We
yes.
all know comfortable.
Oh yes, the interest rates over millennia have done me quite well in the form of gold and riches. But never the matter. The fairy knew not what was best for me. What was best for me was written long, long ago in a scroll that I wrote for myself as my instructions in life. And she wanted to derail me.
Really?
The fact that she had such an impact on me, make me think of her every time I was alone studying, was just proof of the fact that she only had ill will. She's a mind virus, you see. A butterfly flutting around in the brain, never landing, always evading, never in a grasp so I could put it in a cage and study its characteristics. No. She thought she was my equal, or at worst, somewhere beyond.
She loved you. What do you think, warrior?
Sounds pretty crazy, man. So what are you really going after?
What am I going after? I'm going after the death of all fairies, starting with one fairy, going to the second fairy, and then the third fairy, and then hopefully the rest of every fairy in that deck, and then every other deck and every other collection. I want all of them dead. None of them have any good on man, wizard, or any other creature. They're merely derailing from their true purpose, which is learning and growing. They want to start families. Such activities are for pets and bunny rabbits, not for those of high intellect. And when I tried to explain this for her, what do you think she did? She scoffed at my knowledge far more than I could scoff at her presence. And the emotions I'm feeling now, I've only felt them. The last time I felt something this strong was far back then. How could this happen? I thought only fairies could induce this feeling.
She only laughed at you because she didn't know how to cry. She didn't know how else to react, but you broke her heart. It was just a reaction, but she was torn apart inside, and she didn't know how to save you. But I have a feeling that she never really left.
How does...
I don't know.
It's
I don't know.
crazy
I need a
research
break.
ability.
I need a break. I don't know.
Joseph, what do you make of all this?
Really cool research ability. I wish I could do that, tell you what you were feeling kind of thing. I really like that whole thing about killing all the dumb, ugly fairies. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I was way happier when we were talking about the dumb and the killing the fairies.
Dumb, ugly. I don't know.
Meadows
what
like
that
bringing
was
up some
about.
other
How to
shit.
Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh.
It's kind of annoying.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm getting all like riled up, like having to defend myself. Like what? Like glory and riches aren't enough, huh? What else could there be? Glory and riches.
We're gonna kill them, and then she gotta bring up the whole love you, whatever, with this whole fairy thing. It's like, let's just kill them.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, dude, it was weird. I was almost buying her train of thought for a second. Like, there really was a weirdness to my motive. But no, like, killing fairies is right. That's all you do to them. It's like, what? Mice eat cheese. Badgers build dams.
Wizards
kill fairies.
It's like the saying. It just rolls off the tongue.
Exactly. It literally rolls off the tongue.
Wizards kill fairies. Exactly.
Wizards kill fairies.
Wizards kill fairies.
Go down to the prairies.
That's the song. Yeah.
Exactly.
They wouldn't have made that if it wasn't true.
Thank you. That's what I needed. See, it takes someone with a sharp blade to slice through the bullshit.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
I've returned. Sorry, sometimes using these abilities of mine can be very draining, and it's a very emotional memory I can feel.
You know what, Meadow?
I would like some healing incense
Oh, yes.
for our group here.
You know what, Meadow? I was on your train of thought for a moment there, but in the brief recess you gave Gosef and I think you are merely distracting us. What matters if these words like love, when they pertain to fairies? We need to get on track. Time is of the essence. We only have 1.5 more hours before the gathering in the forest occurs, and we don't even know the weak point of 2 of our fairies. Let's get it back on track if you must, unless you have more insightful things to come and derail our discussion with.
Insightful distractions.
Exactly. You were so helpful in the start, but I just can't help but wonder if even you have a different motive, Meadow.
I'm here for you, wizard.
Thank you.
Yeah, shake it off.
I will. Hold on. Let me just... No emotions, no commotion. Only a bloodthirsty devotion.
I've heard that before.
Ah, yes. That's a spell of my own invention.
What?
It topped number 4 in the charts for about a good 2 months, and then it got replaced by Adele.
Oh my god.
She might be a fairy, for all we can tell.
She must be. She topped that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Alright, anyway.
Where were we?
Where were we? We're talking about dumb, ugly, and stupid. Those words. I love those so much more than I love the word love. Ridiculous. So, for these fairies, if sounds like we've gone well over the way that they can affect powerful beings like wizards like me. But what I am more curious is how can we affect them? They must have some little tag. Every box has a
Zipper. Every box has a zipper.
Every box has a zipper. Every bag has a
Button.
drawstring. Every coat has a button. Every...
Jar has a lid.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know. You also know metaphors too.
Yeah. I pick and choose, like I said.
I see.
Yeah.
Meadow. Gosef. Deep in the crevices of my vast continental mind, I came up with an idea. Perhaps your line of discussion, Meadow, was not fruitless after all. You see, if the fairies communicate in the realm of love, then that is our open door.
Exactly.
All right. This is wonderful. Okay, so question. So, what we need to do, we need to flip the script. It's not about how we can immediately find the weak point and bludgeon them. We need to find how we can attract them, gain their trust, make them actually come to us the way the fairy came to me. There was some characteristic that she liked about me, but the ridiculous assumptions about my eyes. She doesn't even know my prescription for my contacts. So that's it. That must be it. If we can figure out what they like in a wizard, what might that make them want to court a wizard and allow them interaction.
Then maybe I'll have another chance with her.
Another chance. Yes. Another chance. And then once that chance, we can jump on that chance. Perhaps that will be the start of something. We'll start to develop a relationship. I might learn about her, learn where she likes to go and what books she likes to read and what types of herbs she likes to chew and maybe what her favorite color of wizard cloak could be.
The essential questions.
Well, weren't you hoping to kill her?
I was. So
Yes.
we're gonna fall in love. You're gonna fall in love. Wait a couple minutes, hours, maybe. I come in, axe ready, and do some chopping, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Perfect.
So we
Love
gain
it.
her trust. We get her to fall in love the way someone might fall in a bear trap.
Right.
And then that moment when her defenses are gone, when she knows no longer how to use her trickery magic, and she finally trusts us, that is when we kiss her. I mean kill her.
Kill.
Oh, kill. Oh my god. Oh, jeez.
Don't worry, Wizard. She falls in love and then she falls right into my axe.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what came over me there. Sorry. She falls into your axe,
Happens all
and
the
that's
time.
when we go into diagram A with all the blood, the blood and the guts. Yes. Die.
Die.
I never realized. Love leads to kill. So wonderful. Meadow, does this sounds like it'll work, right? This pertains to your research. We get them to fall in love with us, and then once we figure out the exact way that a fairy will not flutter away and will no longer scoff at the things that I bring and perhaps may actually come to stay, that is when they'll be at their weakest point.
This is your best plan yet, Wizard.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. So, please, if you could tell me, like, what are the ways to... This is something I've very much not researched in. The last millennia or so, I've spent really focusing on this part of it, the kill part.
Yes.
Kill.
But the love part, I've read a couple books, I've read some John Green, that wizard, and
Wonderful wizard.
he is. He tried to teach me how to love. Really, he only taught me how to feel teenage angst, but any matter. I must refer to your expertise. It sounds like a lot of your knowledge on fairies is not more so in their weaknesses, what sort of body parts are best to attack, what veins are like most prominently exposed, stuff like that. It's more so about the inner workings of their character.
Yes. So every fairy is different, but if we're talking about Harmony, she likes your creative side. She likes when you're honest. She likes when you're vulnerable.
This is a dumb, ugly, stupid one, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yes. So this is a side of you that I sense you don't like to let out. So, but this is what she loves about you.
My creative side.
Yes. Your kindness and your vulnerable. But it's blocked. It's blocked by a cold stone wall with thorn vines wrapped around it.
Yes.
And only she can open the door through it. But once she's in, then she's in and you'll be vulnerable. Don't you see, Wizard? No matter what you do, she wins. Because she loves.
Are you saying if I become vulnerable, then I might be susceptible to her magic and trickery?
You'll
That
no
cannot
longer
do.
care to hunt, is my vision. That's why he'll need you, warrior, to keep him
Okay.
on the path.
Perfect. You do the whole love thing, I'll do the kill.
So, okay. So this is getting very complicated and it seems very dangerous. So, what you're saying is that I myself, once the fairy has fallen in love with me, I actually am powerless in vanquishing her because I will be under her spell.
She
So-
really does love you, but to earn her trust, yes, you will be vulnerable.
And you're sure, positive, that if we do this, we'll be able to have Gosif in the wings,
Yes.
ready to chop her up, like, blah, kill,
Yes.
kill.
Yes. 100%.
It sounds so much more dangerous than I could have even imagined.
Yes.
I thought I could be the one that does the most of the work here and still maintain my inner direction. And I thought Gosif would merely be the tool in which I use. You see, I don't know if I noticed, or I don't know if you guys know this, but I chose Gosif because his head is actually completely empty. So I could use a spell of trickery, so I could use a spell of manipulation and control him as if he were my own. He pretty much just agrees with everything I say, and so he's the perfect candidate.
So I don't know what's going on, but sounds good.
Wonderful.
We're making a plan for him to kill Harmony, but in order for him to do that, he has to open a part of his heart that he has blocked off with a spell in his little, because he drinks his emotions and potions,
Right.
so he keeps them all separate. So he will have to bring that emotion that he's bottled up back inside. When he does that, he may no longer even want to proceed with the mission. So it would fall upon you to do it.
I just gotta slice and dice, right? Just go in. I can do that, let me tell
Okay.
you.
It would be so of utmost critical importance for you to slice and dice. Even, Gosif, the way it sounds, and I have a shiver even speaking of it, I might try to stop you.
Yes.
But you have to go, you have to do the deed. Because if we go through with this plan, and we do every step up until that point, but at the critical moment it fails, then I will be in the worst position ever. I will be in love with a fairy. I will have let her into my home and shown her my secrets and become vulnerable. And maybe we'd start a life together.
A nice life?
It may be nice. Maybe I could show her my coolest, my most warty looking frog.
Maybe she could read your books?
If she was smart enough, they're very advanced. But I could read them to her. I could translate into common speak.
I think she'd like that.
Oh my goodness, I've never been thrown off my course like this before. And all thanks to you, Meadow. Jeez, Meadow, I underestimated you. I thought you merely had book knowledge, but with the magic of empathy and all your other attributes, you've perplexed me. You almost, looking at you now, you almost remind me of a certain allure that I've felt once before. I never would have expected you when I found you on LinkedIn. That's crazy. And for you to have all this knowledge and work us through to this grand conclusion of finally hunting a fairy, man, I don't even know what to say. You're amazing.
As are you, Grand Wizard. And
Wait, don't call me Grand Wizard, that's the KKK.
Yeah. Maybe pass on that one.
as are you, Great Wizard.
Yes.
And perhaps Harmony never left your side. Perhaps she was always there, somewhere, trying to help you. Did you ever think about that? During all of your hunts?
Trying to help me?
Yes. She
How?
was trying to help you break your wall down.
My wall, my beautiful wall with all the cool,
Yes.
cold gray stones. I
Yes.
spent a lot of time on that wall.
She was trying to wake you up from your cold cave. This didn't used to be a cave. It used to be a beautiful castle. Don't you remember?
I do.
And now we have other paths laid ahead. Because you wouldn't be okay with not being in control once. You turned it into a cave in spite of me. Harmony. It was all facade. I was just trying to break through to you. But I always cared for you. I never stopped loving you. That was it.
Oh, Harmony. You come back.
I never left. I was just trying to help you. Break your wall down. Be the artist you were meant to be. Be the creator you were meant to show the world you could be. With all of its colors, not just gray. Don't you see?
I see.
Upon your hazel eyes, I have blessed you. And you turn your back on me. On all of us. Now you want to hunt us? You only wanted love, but you would never see it. So you hired the likes of him. For what? For my death?
Oh, Harmony. How could you ever forgive me?
A wizard! Never let me go. Although I feel you must.
Oh, Harmony. Oh, my walls are broken. I'll shatter them with the biggest sledgehammer I could find.
Oh.
I'll cast a spell and divide it into 1,000 little stones. No, I'll never let you go. Harmony, please, all I ask is you never leave me once again. Please stay. Forgive me for my
I forgive
mistakes.
Forgive me.
No! Harmony! No! Joseph!
Yeah.
Joseph, how could you?
Like we said.
Joseph! Oh!
Why are you not happy about it?
I was so wrong! Joseph!
I did what I
God,
needed to do.
no!
That's
Gosh!
what I did.
Harmony! You have finally come back to me. After all this time, it was I who was dumb and ugly and stupid. And all because of the melancholy I felt deep into my heart. Oh, Harmony. Harmony, you came back to me. And now, all I have to remember you is this beautiful, beautiful portrait I drew. Oh, Harmony. Oh, Harmony. Oh, Harmony. Oh, Harmony. Why? Harmony. Oh, Harmony. My hazel eyes were oh so blind, but now I can see. Led astray by the demon known as melancholy. You are anything but dumb, stupid, and ugly. Oh, Harmony, all I wanted to do was hear your melody. But instead, I was trying to hunt a fairy. Oh, Harmony.
And then sorry for your loss. But anyway, so with Glory and Riches, I was just kind of curious how you were like gonna give that to me. I don't know if you were thinking like dragon's teeth. I could take like livestock. I could take little colored shells. I've taken little colored shells plenty of times. I mean, gold's a classic. For deeds to land, that's fine with me. The fairy wings. Not fairy wings. So instead, I mean, I could take a PayPal scroll. I could take Venmo, Scroll. I cannot do Cash App, unfortunately. And then, I mean, in terms of like time frame, I usually get paid within like 1 to 2 business fortnights. If you have to do 3, that's fine. Harmony. 4 to 5. Okay, I'll write you down for 6 to 7 business fortnights. Please don't forget. And I just want to thank you for today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bitcoin.
The only issue with doing this on the same night as the Oscars is that you guys won't qualify for an Oscar for another year. So you're gonna have to wait to get your award for this. You know?
Yeah, no, it's true, and then people will be able to like copy our ideas and stuff.
Exactly.
But it's okay. It's not. It's all about. It's really like, you know, as long as they make like a couple 10 million in the box office, I'm pretty cool.
That's good.
I swear. If he casts Benedict Cumberbatch as Joseph, I will freak out.
You're gonna be played by Timothy Chalamet.
What about like commute? Like, what's your transportation like?
Great question. So I am using public transportation as of right now, but you know, after we've done some business together for a while, maybe I can upgrade and kind of. But that's not to say I'm not reliable. I'm definitely reliable.
I see. And fast learner, you've mentioned
fast learner, absolutely. So yeah, I'll have no problems.
Cool. Any certifications?
Yeah. I'm certified awesome. Certified.
Oh, like the sticker they give you at the dentist?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I actually got that. So a while ago, so I've had that ever since.
Nice.
Yeah.